At this time, we're going to have remarks by Mr. Clarence Armbruster, who is the co-chair and also president of Girard College and our gracious host. Mr. Armbruster.
I have my seat if you like. Well, good morning. Oh, no, we can do better than that. Good morning. All the energy that I was concerned that all the energy that Jane Golden exuded in the previous room would be dissipated in the walkover, but so we want to make sure we continue with that enthusiasm on this upbeat day. And what a glorious day it is, notwithstanding the temperature. I am Clarence Armbruster. I'm president of Girard College. 5 years ago, Girard College became the signature site for the Greater Philadelphia Martin Luther King Day of Service. And you might say, it truly has been a match made in heaven. Our 43-acre campus offers the number and variety of spaces needed to host the more than 36 projects and activities that will take place here on January 20th. But even more importantly, we here at Girard have a 165-year commitment to service handed down to us by our founder, Stephen Girard, whose generosity and vision established this school in 1848. I encourage you to learn more about him, which you can easily do on our website, a man who is passionate about helping others and would have heartily approved of a day of service like the one we are talking about today. Additionally, we at Girard feel a deep connection to the memory of Dr. King, who took part in the successful efforts to desegregate Girard College in the 1960s, and you heard our brother Ken refer to that earlier in the previous room. 4 months ago, on September 11th, ironically, and it was to the day of the event, our entire community came together to celebrate the 45th anniversary of the significant moment in the history of our school and our city. It was a profoundly moving celebration that is documented on our homepage of the website and includes photos of Dr. King's addressing the protesters in 1965 right outside the gates. And I underscore right outside the gates because he couldn't get in. How appropriate and exciting that the Philadelphia Orchestra will also participate in the Martin Luther King tribute concert that will be held here on the 20th as well. So it seems only right that we celebrate community service and honor Dr. King here at our historic campus. I'd like to take you of just a moment to tell you about this beautiful building that you're in. And I know many of you have been here years before, but I did run into someone who told me that this was their first time. I'm always amazed that people are finding their way to Girard campus for the first time. And this was the first building, Founders Hall, that was erected here at Girard College. And it was designed by architect Thomas U. Walter, who later designed the Dome of the United States Capitol in Washington. Today, the first floor rooms, which we're in today, are used for community and school events like this one. But originally, these rooms were the school's first classrooms. Upstairs is the Girard Collection and Museum that includes Girard's shipping records, furnishing, garments, and even his buggy. I strongly recommend that when you have an opportunity, you visit us again, and there's more information about the museum and how to schedule a tour can be found on our website. We are truly excited and proud to host an event like Martin Luther King Day of Service that reflects Stephen Girard's commitment to service, that supports thousands of individual volunteers who desire only to improve the lives of others, and that honors Dr. Martin Luther King's message of freedom and opportunity. I welcome you.
Thank you so much, Clay. At this time, I need to introduce someone who really doesn't need any introduction because he's the reason that has brought us all together for the King Day of Service. Todd Bernstein, some years ago, who's the founder and director of the Greater Philadelphia Martin Luther King Day of Service and MLK 365. You will hear that name going in and out of all the things that we do because Todd had a vision years ago that the best way to honor Dr. King's legacy is to serve others. And since that time, it has now grown into the largest single-day observance of service anywhere in the country. So at this time, I'd like to bring Todd Bernstein to the podium to provide his remarks as we continue our program. Todd.
Thank you, David. Good morning, everyone. Clay, thank you so much for hosting us again for the 5th year. It's hard to believe. Girard College is an incredible treasure that needs our support, and it just gives so many young people the opportunity that they might not ordinarily have, and we have people like Ken Salam and Mel Dorn and Karen Tucker and others from the Cecil B. Moore Philadelphia Freedom Fighters to thank for that. So thank you. Also, may I actually just ask you to give my brother David Brown a good round of applause for being such a great MC. And, you know, we did have this great expression of words, of art, and of song, and hearing from Ken in the other room, which is really a lot of what this day is about. It's about empowering young people. And understanding not just the words but the deeds of Dr. King so that we can take that forth and live out his life. So once again, let's give everyone who performed in the other room a round of applause. You see men here who are in the orange vests, and then there are other men in blue. We call them the men in blue. I want to thank Mel Wells for a big shout out to Mel from One Day at a Time and the men who are part of One Day at a Time for being such committed people and being here year in and year out and doing great things in the community, and also Ready, Willing, and Able, the men of Ready, Willing, and Able. Let's give them a round of applause. You know, I've been saying and thanking our sponsors and saying we couldn't do it without them. I mean, we really couldn't. It's an extraordinary effort and year-round planning process, which is, of course, not just about the day. It's a day of volunteering, which is really about a lifetime of service. So thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to our co-chairs. And I also really, it's my personal debt of gratitude to the incredible staff of Global Citizen who are now working day in and day out on this. My colleagues, Louisa Mfumensa, Campbell Bird, Emma Bardis, Chen Zhang, and John Delaney. Please raise your hands and be recognized. So 19 years after Harris Wofford and I got together one night, when we were in Harrisburg. Harris was Secretary of Labor and Industry, and we talked about the day of celebration, just 2 years after the federal holiday was established. This is going back to 1988. And we talked about other ways of honoring and celebrating Dr. King, of empowering people to identify the needs of the community, and not just talk about it, but turn those concerns into action. So we launched the King Day of Service after a blizzard in '96 with 1,000 volunteers. So 19 years later, and in 12 days, on January 20th, we will again be the center of this growing national movement when we expect more than 125,000 volunteers to serve in 1,700 projects. Again, the largest King Day event in the nation. Now, there are a lot of opportunities. There's still opportunities for people to volunteer. There are also opportunities for organizations to come forth and organize projects, and we will happily match volunteers for King Day in 12 days. So either go to our website at MLKDayofService.com or call our hotline at 215-851-1811. And we ask you to use the hashtag MLK Day 2014 to share your experiences on King Day. And of course, Girard College serving as a signature project, as I mentioned, for the 5th year in a row. We'll have upwards of 6,000 people here in about 150 different activities. This year marks the 60th anniversary, as we've been told, of the Brown versus Board of Education Supreme Court decision desegregating America's public schools. It also is an opportunity to highlight Dr. King's activism on educational equality. And frankly, this serves as a backdrop to what is an incredibly challenging situation in Philadelphia's public school system. You know that they face a tremendous deficit, which has resulted in cuts in staff, in resources, and in programs. And two of the decision makers are here, Mayor Nutter and Bill Haidt as the superintendent of schools. There is the governor, there is the General Assembly and City Council and the School Reform Commission. They all have a very important role in this. But we, the people, also have a role. We cannot just look at this as spectators. We have to be involved, and there are plenty of things that we can do. We have to be more than casual observers. So in this process, when the lives of our young people are at stake, we can do something. So it's in that spirit that on King Day, in our signature project, we'll have more than 100 volunteers led by the mayor and Dr. Haidt, parents, students, people from throughout the entire region, collecting, assembling, sorting, and packing critically needed supplies for schools and computers and classrooms and library books to be distributed to the most underserved schools. There will also be college preparation workshops that will be held for Philadelphia high school students. And Dr. Haidt has been putting out the word to this. So there are things that we can do, and we have to do them. So this project, I want to just give a shout out of thanks to the partners who are doing this. Interstate Media, the Inquirer Daily News and Philly.com, Philadelphia Futures, Philadelphia Reads, NTR, the Nonprofit Technology Resources, Mobile Citizen, and Wilco Electronics. Between now and Friday, please spread the word. We'll take supplies. We will gladly accept school supplies at the offices of Interstate General Media at 801 East Market Street, the old Strawbridge and Clothier building. Please, we need everyone's support. And I can just parenthetically tell you that we've been collecting school supplies for months. And you may think it's a drop in the bucket if you give a box of pens or a carton of copy paper. When we've made those deliveries to schools that are really in need of additional supplies, it matters to them. So don't think that it doesn't. As Clay mentioned, we're really excited about this partnership with the Philadelphia Orchestra when they will be performing their 24th annual Martin Luther King Jr. tribute concert as the concluding event here at Girard College on King Day. Tickets are free, and they are available starting today in about 40 minutes by going to philorch, that's philorch.org/MLK. And I'm not sure if he's here yet, but I know that he is the Executive Vice President of the Philadelphia Orchestra, Matthew Lowen. Please accept our appreciation for this exciting new partnership. We're delighted to have you. It's Matthew Loden. Dr. King, just a week before he was killed, said if a man doesn't have a job or an income, he has neither life nor liberty nor the possibility for the pursuit of happiness. He merely exists. And if he doesn't have a job, that's why we are organizing for the third year our Jobs and Opportunity Fair for 500 job seekers, 20 employers with real available jobs, workshops for those who need to hone their skills and to develop those skills. And it's Philadelphia Works and Clear Channel who are our key partners on that. You must be pre-registered. You can come to our website at mlkdayofservice.org. It is also a tremendously important undertaking that we're doing to celebrate economic justice. So that's it for me. My last duty, as always, which is a lot of fun, before the mayor makes the exciting announcement about the winner of the Harris Wofford Active Citizenship Award, is to present him with the very first T-shirt, hot off the press, and it depicts, as I said, the theme of the 19th annual King Day of Service, which is the 60th anniversary of the Brown versus Board of Education. And he also knows the drill as we go to the rear. Those are incredible corporate and nonprofit citizens led by Target and the United Way of Greater Philadelphia and Southern New Jersey, and dozens more. Thank you so much, and we look forward to having you in 12 days to participate with us. Thank you. Mr. Mayor?
Todd, thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. Todd, thank you for always making sure I get my T-shirt early. These are very hot items, and if I don't get it now, I run the risk of not having one at all. So it's exciting to be here, and President Armbruster, thank you very much for your leadership and continued support in so many different ways, and certainly the same is true for our superintendent, Dr. Height. Thank you for your work here and your presence. David Brown, thank you certainly for not only being, I guess, technically the MC for today, but also the many, many things that you do across the city of Philadelphia. Todd has recognized a couple folks who are in the house. I need to do much of the same. I saw in the other room, that was a quite incredible transition from the one room to the other. I've been to a number of events in my time, and this was the most orderly group that I've ever seen. I've seen events where it would take a half hour for folks to get from over there to over here, but you were really, really great. And that's probably because we have folks like RWA in the back, ready, willing, and able. Can we please give them another big, big round of applause? Mel and the team at ODAT. Who dat? ODAT. Who dat? ODAT. All right, ODAT's in the house, and of course, young people in the red jackets. They know I love them and see them around all the time. City Year's in the house as well. Please recognize these young people from City Year who are with us. And then there are just maybe a few of us who've been around for a little while. First, myself, is to just set the tone. But I saw in the other room, I don't know if he made the transition, Fire Commissioner Lloyd Ayers was with us. Commissioner, thank you very, very much. This always gets to be a little bit of the dangerous part. Reverend Bonnie is here, and certainly the great, great folks at the Salvation Army. Reverend Bonnie, thank you very much. Lorraine Ballard Merrill, who was right over there. I saw her earlier. And Rich Negrin is in the back, our Managing Director, Deputy Mayor for Administration and Coordination, all the way in the back. And John Farrell and Philly Rising. SRC Board Member Sylvia Sims is with us this morning. Sylvia, good seeing you. Pastor Weiler is over on the side. Good seeing you, sir. And Enon is in the house. Lorena Marshall Blake from IBC, who I keep very close to me, always right in my wallet. IBC and my medical card. Jane Golden, I missed the start of this program, but I heard Clay Armbruster, President Armbruster, mention Jane, and his description is nothing less than I would expect. Jane has more energy than any 5 people I know put together. I want to give a big, big shout out to the young people who are involved in this incredible mural. Can we please recognize them, the work that they've done? the Girard College Lower School Choir, and Imani Green, the 8th grader who had a reading of an essay. Can we please recognize our young people right here at Girard College? And, of course, the one, the only, the incomparable Todd Bernstein, and a global citizen. Todd, thank you again. Keeping up the work. We could have a great King Day. It's made better by the 56 King Day of Service sponsors. And you see them, of course, right there in the middle, as is appropriate, Target. But so many, many others. Please recognize them. Go in their stores or shop or do whatever it is that they do or what they offer. But we appreciate all of these sponsors. It is no surprise, of course, that Philadelphia would be the city with the largest single day of service, but we're a city of service, and that's really what it's all about. And the numbers keep growing. I remember there was a time when we were hopeful that 20,000 people might show up, and I think, what did you announce this morning, 115? 125. 125,000 folks will volunteer on the King Day of Service in Philadelphia. So each year it continues to grow, and I believe that certainly we must all come together to solve our city's many challenges, and we certainly know that government cannot do it all alone. The King Day of Service is one of many, many examples of how, in the spirit of Dr. King, we can come together to tackle the challenges that face our great city. This was mentioned earlier, but I want to comment on it as well. An example of this year's theme, linking the 60th anniversary of the Brown v. Board of Education Supreme Court decision with Dr. King's fight for educational equality and what we all can do as citizens to help our public school system. The system is, in fact, desegregated, but it's not equitable, and it's unacceptable. If you want to do something, be an advocate for kids and education in this city. And we're still fighting for educational equality here in the city of Philadelphia, and we're not going to settle for adequate school funding. We should have superior school funding for every school in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and every school system in our great state. And so this is still a civil rights struggle for all of us. Brown v. Board of Education was one of the most important Supreme Court decisions ever made. But decisions get made every day and every week and every month and every year, certainly at budget time, for what funding is available for our children, for whatever school they may go to, whatever system they may attend, wherever their parents decide to send them. We need a system of great schools in this city and in this state and in this country if we're going to move forward as Americans and have the ability of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Education is the key. Todd mentioned earlier the need for donation of supplies, and certainly I support that effort. We created the Philadelphia Educational Supplies Fund, and we also want to encourage folks to go to the old Strawbridge site at 8th and Market and bring those supplies. They are needed. They are important. We're halfway through the school year. Children use what they use, and they're not worried about what the start of the year was or how many supplies did you have then. They need to write, they need to draw, they need to create, and they need to have the materials to be able to do those things. And so you can get more information about the Philadelphia Education Supplies Fund, as well as the work that Todd and the team are doing at www.phila.gov. So far, we've raised $546,000, and the initial checks are going out to our 255 local schools in the next few days. And just as the need for school supplies is year-round, we must never be content to have just one big day of service. As important as this day of service is, there are 364 or 65 other days of the year where we need service in this city. And so let us be a city of service all year long. And in that spirit, the Mayor's Office of Civic Engagement and Volunteer Service, under the great leadership of our Chief Service Officer, Katie Wolfgang, they bring together the city's energetic and effective service organizations to join forces with our city agencies to help us again solve critical issues in our city. The City of Philadelphia will play and continue to play an active role in the King Day of Service with projects organized throughout the city involving a wide range of agencies. And I expect that every department and agency in our city government will have some level of involvement and engagement. This year, service projects will take place in dozens of Philadelphia public schools, our rec centers, and in public housing. Philadelphia Fire Department, under the leadership of Commissioner Ayers, will be out in full force throughout the entire city, training hundreds of volunteers in the basics of CPR. Please give Commissioner Ayers another round of applause. And certainly our international musical ambassadors, I am very excited about this new partnership formed with the Philadelphia Orchestra, performing right here at Girard College as the grand finale to the King Day of Service. As Todd mentioned, he gets to do some pretty exciting things with this, and this is one of those moments where I get to do something pretty exciting as well. I get the pleasure of presenting the 16th Annual King Day of Service Harris Wofford Active Citizenship Award. It's named for the founder of the National King Day of Service, of course, Pennsylvania's former senator and our co-chair, Harris Wofford. This award is presented each year to an individual or an organization that has, one, been instrumental through the year in supporting the Greater Philadelphia King Day of Service, and two, makes a tremendous difference in our community year-round. I'm pleased to announce that the 16th Annual King Day of Service Harris Wofford Active Citizenship Award is today going to be presented to Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church. Oh, man. Come on up, Pastor. And you think you were surprised. Looked around like it just got a subpoena or something. He said, who, me? Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church has been a tremendous supporter of the King Day of Service through the years and is one of the most civically engaged institutions in our city. Let me tell you a little bit about them if you don't know. In addition to being one of the largest churches in Philadelphia with some 16,000 members, the church sponsors monthly volunteer service projects for church members, donation drives to collect supplies for area schools, tutoring and after-school programs, chess teams, youth athletics, choirs, step groups, drum lines, bands, academic scholarship programs, visitations to our incarcerated prisoners, and meal programs for the homeless, just to name a few of the things happening at Enon. Many of these programs not only engage young people in activities, but foster civic responsibility, active citizenship, self-esteem, increased school attendance, and achievement, all building a sense of family and community. When our public school system faced a staggering deficit, Pastor Alan Waller and Enon brought together leaders of the school district for 2 community forums, including then SRC Chairman Pedro Ramos, Superintendent Dr. William Height, and PFT President Jerry Jordan, to explore the tremendous challenges the school district faces and, most importantly, potential solutions. Enon has donated millions of dollars to support dozens of community organizations throughout our great city and organizations as far away as the Western Cape and South Africa, where it sponsors a church that has adopted the name Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church. Please join me in congratulating Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church Senior Pastor Alan Waller as the winner of the 16th Annual Harris Wofford Active Citizenship Award. Pastor Waller.
Mayor Michael Nutter, and to Brother Todd Bernstein, to all of you, my brothers and sisters in Christ and culture. It's an honor. I was just sitting here texting my wife saying, I wonder why I'm here. We're so grateful to be a part of this every year, to be a sponsor, to be an active part of joining with thousands of voices and thousands of hands in helping people, because at the end of the day, whatever your religious perspective, whatever your philosophical worldview is, The real test of that is how does it play out in treating people. And so I am grateful to join hands with people whose faith is more in their feet and hands than in their mouth. And so I'm grateful for this recognition. We honor that, and I will joyfully share this with the entire church family. I'm grateful today because we are also celebrating 60 years after a great decision. But that decision causes us to raise the question of where we are today. The real test of any culture, the test of humanity, is how do we raise the next generation. The test of who we are will not be seen in the individual plaques that we receive, nor in the accolades that we receive as adults, but what will our children look like and how will they act. And that will be the real testimony of what we did in our parenting and in our proxy for parenting. So I am grateful. I am honored. I thank God for this. And there's a song that we always sing that just simply says, if I should gain any praise, let it go to Calvary. God bless you and thank you so very, very much. Amen.
I think one thing that's really important, and I'm excited this year about the King holiday because I'm actually going to be in town and I can participate in all of these events. And being from other places that have replicated many of the things that started here in Philadelphia, for me, it identifies the significance of much of what has happened, from everything from the Philadelphia freedom fighters, the Cecil B. Moore Philadelphia freedom fighters, to all of the other firsts and the acknowledgments that must go out to all of you who are a part of this. But on the King holiday, we're always reminded that the impact that one individual can have on the world during times of great challenge. Pastor Walla, Mayor Nutter, and others talked about the 60th anniversary of a great decision, Supreme Court decision, Brown v. Board of Education, when they were talking about equal access. And so equal access provided for many individuals to then get in. But there's more than just getting in. Because once you get in, you have to have access to the opportunities that exist by you getting in. And so it's one thing to get in, but then it's another thing to get it. And getting it is ensuring that our children, no matter where they attend school, have the resources that they need in order to get it. So getting in is one thing, but if we have access for all of these tremendous programs and opportunities, but then those programs and opportunities can't be supported because of fiscal challenges, then are we really providing access? And is it really equal? And so one of the things that I think about in this time of service, and as we begin to think about this work, is how each of our individual and collective efforts can make a difference for many of the children who are educated here in the School District of Philadelphia. One of my favorite quotes from Dr. King: everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love. It is at this time that I want to acknowledge everyone who will be participating, all 100,000+ individuals. I want to acknowledge them for their soul generated by love and by their service to our city and to our students. We all recognize the importance of education, and education in creating bright futures for the young people of Philadelphia. Today, I hope that we also remember the role that each of us play in ensuring that all of those young people also have access and opportunity to realize Dr. King's dream. As adults, let's continue advocating for our students, but that advocacy is not just in voice or in words, it's also in deed. And those deeds are things like the day of service. Those deeds are those things like talking to young people to understand what they need in order to be successful. And it's also things like making sure that we have the necessary adequate resources to provide those investments for many of their children that will make a difference for them as we move forward. So we, as the School District of Philadelphia, on behalf of the administration, the SRC, Sylvia Sims, who's here, Evelyn Sample Oates, who leads our Office of Family and Community Engagement, on behalf of all of us, we look forward to participating, and we look forward to joining you on the 19th to ensure that our schools and other places within our city are products or become the results of the efforts that we utilize to bring all of the things that we need in order to get our schools, our divisions, our communities up to speed so that all of our young people and our citizens have access and opportunity. Thank you.
Absolutely. Before I bring our final speaker to the stage, I wanted to also provide thanks on behalf of the MLK to Heather Wirtz from the United Way of Southeastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and all the stuff that you do for all the work that the United Way has continued to do throughout the history of what we've done at the MLK. So thank you again, Heather. Very much so. Very much so. And at this time, I'd like to bring to the stage Arun Brekakaran, who is the Vice President of the Urban Affairs Coalition, one of the sponsors for MLK. But also, we talk about 365. The Urban Affairs Coalition and so many nonprofits do so much every single day. And on behalf of the nonprofit community, Arun's going to come and bring remarks and also to close us out for the day. Arun?
Thank you and good morning. I want to thank everyone for coming here this morning. I'm so proud to be here. I'm the Vice President of the Urban Affairs Coalition. My name is Arun Prabhakaran. David Brown is the first person to stumble upon that. Don't worry. But in all seriousness, you know, we do the work in the nonprofit community of serving all kinds of needs, and including organizations like ODAT, organizations throughout the city. We have about 65 organizations within the coalition that are touching the lives of everyday people, making sure that the 150,000 people we serve and the many other organizations throughout the city, the nonprofits that help really touch lives, can really make a difference. So it's really a pleasure to be here this morning at this press conference. I think that when we look at this great American hero, this great civil rights leader, Dr. King, there really, as many others have said, there is absolutely no better way to honor a person's legacy than to continue their work. And I think that in the days to come, all of the efforts that we do here will not only continue his work, but make sure that we carry a message that allows all of us to find ways to teach children, to connect children, and to further life chances for them. We at the Coalition have found that that is part of our mission. Over the years, we house about, I think, 65% of the organizations at the Coalition really focus on improving life chances for young adults, because it's not what you put in, it's really what comes out, the outcomes that they experience, the connections they make, and they, together, we work to make one community, whether it's they work in the nonprofit sector, the for-profit sector, they have jobs, they have an education, they have a future. And so, again, I would just like to be very brief here and say we are all looking forward to this day. It is a great day. It's a great day for Philadelphia. It's recognized throughout the country, and we're really excited that organizations like MLK 365 are able to do the good work of connecting the community to the tremendous effort that every single one of us want to put in on MLK Day. So thank you so much.